Alright, what's up y'all, LakerFan here. As y'all can see by the title of today's video, we're ranking all the shooting badges in NBA 2K22 Next Gen in tiers F through S, so I hope y'all enjoy. If you do, feel free to drop a like, sub if you're new, turn on them noties, all that good stuff, and let's try this one to 1,000 likes. Now, this video is from the perspective of someone who hasn't even made a jump shot all year, and I've played like almost 500 games. I want to keep everybody in mind that this perspective is from me and what I've seen my point guards run, what I've seen my spot ups run. I've ran a lot of Pro-Am, stage 3s, all types of 3v3, 2v2, whatever the case may be, all throughout the year. And I've been soaking in the perspective on shooting badges in the community and just my own little circle as well. And we're here to talk about all of this. So I just wanted to let anybody out there know that this isn't from the Mr. Expert when it comes to the first person perspective of me actually taking a lot of jump shots and seeing it firsthand. But with me as an inside big man, it takes a lot of understanding of my point guard's ability to hit 3-pointers and to get himself open for those as well. So again, I just want to let everybody know whose perspective this is coming from, but I hope y'all enjoy the video. And if you want to leave some feedback in the comments on this video, go for it. If you have a difference in opinion of what I have on this tier list, feel free to leave anything that you want in the comments on this vid. I would love to hear everybody's perspective and opinions when it comes to this shooting category right here. So with all that said, I don't have anything in the F tier and I have 2 badges in the E tier. I think that there are a lot of really good shooting badges in this game. And with that also said, I don't recommend you run anything below D tier. So D and E tier, and then obviously we have nothing in the F tier. I don't recommend running any of these badges because there's so many good ones in the game. Like I'm talking literally 15 badges that are C tier and above that are super good, super reasonable to run. And it's not that the ones in the D tier and the E tier are horrible. These are still not in the F tier for a reason. It's just there's so many good badges when it comes to shooting that are above these ones right here. So that's why I am letting you guys know anything below C tier I would not recommend running. So slippery off ball and set shooter. For set shooter, it's going to be giving a shot boost to standing still before taking a jump shot. This is mostly, in my opinion, for catch and shoots. This can still be a thing for standing still, but honestly, how often are you with the ball going to be able to just stand there and be able to shoot the shot? I will say, however, this is a pretty reasonable badge for any slashers out there who are really dominating in the sense of just absolutely taking it to the hoop on people. And then boom, just like that, they leave you wide open. You can stand still for a long time. It extends the boost for however long that you're standing there too. Up to what point, I don't really know. But the longer you wait and stand there and don't shoot the ball, the more of a boost you get. This is also really good for catch and shoots and stuff like that. If the defense is trying to rotate and then boom, you're the last man in the rotation and the defense is nowhere to be found on you. You can sit there, take your time. The one thing about this badge though is that it contradicts dimer. So obviously the longer that you take, if you take too long, your dimer boost is running out. But not a lot of people are running dimer on their point guards or anything like that in this game just because they expect everybody can hit. So long story short, set shooter, not the greatest badge. It is reasonable, and if you're someone who's very specific with the way you like to play, I understand your reason for running it. Slippery off ball. Obviously, this works for the inside big man out there, but the thing about it is you have to have a certain amount of mid-range rating or three-pointer rating to be able to actually have the badge. So you need 40 mid-range or three-pointer to have bronze. You need 45 for silver, 50 for gold, and 55 for Hall of Fame. So if you're somebody who reached these points and still managed to actually get shooting badges, and you think that the badges that you want to run are reasonable to run slippery off ball instead of something that can actually help you hit 3-pointers more, then so be it. But realistically, not a very good badge. It might be something that legends run later in the year, where if you're gifted 10 badge points in each category, I don't know if this is going to be a thing either. I'm not positive that we are going to get those 10 badge points in each category, but let's just say that you do unlock those 10 extra badges and you unlock the ability to put the badge on whatever level like you did last year. This is actually a really good thing for inside big. Slippery off ball obviously helps you get past bumps and stuff like that on just cuts and stuff. Or if you're somebody who's very specific in the way you like to play, where you're dexing around off ball and stuff like that, it's understandable. But me personally, I don't even think it helps that play style too much. It just helps you kind of slide past people, in my opinion. If you guys think it helps you get better jukes and stuff in terms of like your movement and stuff off ball, so be it. I will say one thing that really could vouch for this badge right here is that off ball defense is very, very bad in this game. So if you want to double down on that by running this badge, by all means, go for it, I guess. If you guys like to run off ball screens and stuff like that too, where you have someone maybe isoing on the opposite wing, understandable. But me personally, I'm going to put this badge in the E tier. I don't think it really serves any competitive advantage. And realistically, if you're on an inside big build that actually has this badge somehow, I don't really know how you'd even manage to do that in the first place because you still need to get a certain amount of badge points. But either way, it's just not worth running if you ask me. All right, so in D tier, I have limitless spot up and rhythm shooter. I want to explain myself on both these badges because I feel like there is potential for them to get a lot better over the course of the game. Mike Wang has 100% mentioned that there will be a buff to things like limitless spot up and chef, where they require you to shoot from super deep for it to be able to actually be activated. That's how it is right now when I make this video. And I want to clarify, if someone's watching this maybe down the line, like months from now, it's very possible that they actually buff these badges to where it's necessary and needed. And if you're someone who's spotting up on the wing for, say, Pro-Am or something like that, this is gonna be super important, super reasonable to run on a gold or higher level if you're playing in Pro-Am in that regard. But obviously, for the sake of realistically 3v3 or 2v2 situations, not even going to be that much of an important badge anyway. For somebody who's going to be, say, isoing with 2 people in the corner, or running pick and roll or something like that with 1 guy in the corner, this really doesn't make any sense to have anywhere on the court, because Chef is going to be the only badge that is needed when it comes to anybody on the court. Like point guard, lockdown, and center, the only person who's going to need limitless spot up is maybe the center for pick and pops and stuff like that. But otherwise, it's not really needed from anybody. But again, in terms of Pro-Am, I will pay this badge a little bit more respect, but right now you don't need it. You can shoot from inside of 30 feet perfectly fine without the badge anyway, and all this does is help you shoot from more than 30 feet. And realistically, if you're spotting up hash, that's pretty reasonable range already without the badge anyway. But maybe they will change it to where you need it for anything inside of like 25 feet or 24, something like that. Either way, I don't even know what the actual 3-point distance is. I should know that, but anyway, moving along, we got Rhythm Shooter. This one will also see a little bit of an increase as well, if you ask me, when everybody has access to things like the Curry Slide or more size up packages that you can shoot off of. In my opinion, so far in this game though, it's been a lot of using size ups to get open, and then you sprint, and then you quick stop and shoot the ball. And in my opinion, Rhythm Shooter doesn't even do anything in that regard. All it's for is shooting off of things like Curry Slides or size up packages to left or right, whatever the case may be. Rhythm Shooter is very good with that, but like I said, the way the meta and just the gameplay itself is constructed, it really supports a lot of left-right movement and just quick stopping off of sprints. And that is not what Rhythm Shooter pertains to. Again, this could see a little bit of a buff down the road when I think everybody has access to the Curry Slide. You'll probably see a lot more people shooting off of stuff like that. But for now, not a go-to badge. I will say there is some glitch in the game that you can do. I think it has to do with the My Player Builder to get the Curry Slide on your build that not a lot of people have really been paying attention to, really interestingly. But it's something that you can't put on your build if you've already made it, and I don't exactly know the 100% procedure on putting that on, but either way, it's a possibility. You can look into it on YouTube. But anyway, in the C tier, we have 6 shooting badges right here. This is what I was saying, man. There's a lot of these badges that are reasonable to run, but it has to fit your play style. So Corner Specialist, Circus 3s, Clutch Shooter, Lucky Number 7, Volume Shooter, and Difficult Shots. We're going to be all over the place with this one, so this might take a little while to get on this tier. I want to first and foremost talk about Lucky Number 7. This badge is 100% go-to if you're talking 1v1 court. If you're playing the 1v1 court and you don't have this badge on, you're out of your mind. What this does is it boosts your shot rating within the first 7 seconds of a possession. So on 1v1 court, if you are, say, a stretch big, aka a post scorer, who is coming out here and either just fading on people, or you're coming out and just shooting over them. I've seen my boy GV doing this stuff on current gen. It looks ridiculous, bro, and Lucky Number 7 goes crazy with that. So I gotta say, fire badge for 1v1 court. And even if you're like a play shot or just someone who's coming out here and shooting threes and stuff like that, it's even more dangerous for them to have to defend you super tight on that 3-point line, and gives you really easy takes to the hoop. Someone might even go for the chase down block on you as you're going to the hoop, and then boom, you run it back out to the 3. If you do that within 7 seconds, huge boost. And on top of that, there's already a ton of badges in the game that help you shoot other than this one, and those compound it even more. So again, Lucky Number 7, really good 1v1 badge. I won't advocate for it too much in other play styles though. I think 2v2 it could be reasonable in terms of if you like to dex off ball on the inbound and stuff like that, or say if you get really quick pick and pop opportunities because the point guard rim runs really quick. Either way, I don't really see any utility in this on 3v3 though, unless you're talking fast breaks, potentially. But I will say, still a very good badge in its own regard in terms of what playstyle or what setting you like to play in. So now for Corner Specialist, this is obviously a go-to for anybody who's playing as a lockdown and specifically sitting in the corner. I feel like I kind of took this down just because not a lot of people besides you are running it, but if you're somebody who's sitting in the corner, you already know Corner Specialist's utility, right? I mean, it's very given that this is going to be one of the 3 badges that you really want. You're going to want Sniper, Corner Specialist, and Catch and Shoot, and then Hot Zone Hunter probably as well, and there might even be more as well. I mean, if you're somebody who's small spotting up in the corner, you might want Mismatch Expert too. We'll get to all of those badges, but obviously you know the utility of Corner Specialist if you're someone who plays there. So don't let me putting in the C tier degrade that by any means. I'm just kind of knocking it down for the fact that nobody besides the corner spot up really runs this, but again, for those who do, very important. So for Circus 3s, this is going to be only step back 3s in terms of what it actually boosts. However, I will say that type of stuff, or even fades, now it doesn't work for fades, I'm pretty sure, but all types of just off dribble stuff in this game is super nasty. I've seen a lot of other people on Twitter and YouTube talking about, I hope they actually patch this before people find out that it's super meta in terms of the off dribble threes and just the step backs and stuff like that. But I gotta say, the badge, its utility is definitely there if you're the specific person. Like, I can't even imagine Tuxedo running badges like this. And honestly, there's a lot to be said about that, man. If it fits your play style like that, more power to you. This is gonna be a really good badge. But because not a lot of people fit that play style, I'm gonna knock this down a little bit too. And realistically, in terms of a comp situation, it doesn't make a lot of sense to constantly fade and take step back threes because it's going to be very easy for you to get open from three-pointer. So realistically, a good badge, but not a necessity. It has to fit your play style, and that's why I just have it in the C tier. So now we're going to get to two badges that are pretty common in my opinion. So we have clutch shooter and volume shooter. This is going to be for a lot of the point guards out there, if you ask me. Volume shooter especially, like, you have to be a point guard to have this. I don't think you should be anybody but a point guard to run volume shooter. The more you shoot, the more your three-point rating is going to be boosted. You have to shoot within a 1-minute window of the last shot that you took to keep this in succession. And with clutch shooter, this is going to be amongst a certain score. I believe it's somewhere around 12 to 14 or something like that. And when any team hits that, that's how it worked in the past. I don't know how it exactly works now. I don't see a lot of people running this badge anyway, just because it's very specific in its utility. But if you like to run 3v3, I will say the badge is decent. And then I really wouldn't recommend the badge in general on Pro-Am, just because it's so specific with how much time and what the setting of the game needs to be and stuff like that for you to even see a boost. And there's so much game in Pro-Am. Like, for you to only have it for 1/8 of the game just wouldn't make any sense. It doesn't really matter in that regard. But for 3v3, where it's going to be a lot of like an ISO fest where you're working for mismatches and stuff like that, or if you play like me, where we're going to take our twos really consistently off slips, and then when it gets late in the game and super tight and contested and close, it would be nice to have this boost right here when you really have to make something happen as a point guard. And that makes sense for this badge. So I have it in the C tier. Again, a lot of these badges are on the same level in my opinion, and they didn't need to be anywhere near the B, but they all fit into their own little tier right here where it's way better than the D, and it's definitely worse than the B. Now we have difficult shots as well. Same old thing as always. It only works for mid-range. However, if you're somebody who likes to exploit the mid-range game, and I say exploit in a loving way, I'm not sitting here saying that you're cheating the game, but I'm just saying if it's in your utility and it's in your wheelhouse to run this badge and do things like this where you're gonna do hop steps, spins, step backs, dribble pull-ups, stuff like that, fadeaways. If you're doing stuff like that on 2v2, this is a really good badge for you. I think on twos is where it's really, really viable because 2-point shots don't hurt you by any means. I will say though, for the sake of 3v3, I would never run this badge. I think it's 3v3 is all either 3-pointers or dunks. That's pretty much all it is. 2v2, you can work a lot more mid-range game, fadeaways, even post fades and stuff like that, but we'll talk about that, you know, a little bit later. But anyway, I do think this badge is pretty good, but specifically for 2v2. For Pro-Am, it's a little bit debatable too, but a lot of people like to quick stop mid-range and stuff like that off what looks like a drive for the most part, and there's not enough room on the court to really do fadeaways in the mid-range or anything like that, or hop jumpers, spin jumpers, whatever the case may be. It takes too long, there's too many defenders on the court, doesn't really make any sense to do so. So I think difficult shots is only a 2v2 badge, in my opinion, and we have in the C tier. Alright, so now into the B tier. We also have 5 badges right here, but I'm just going to go ahead and explain this to you guys. Deadeye is not part of Fade Ace. I know it looks kind of confusing because I have like 2 different lines right here that are kind of attached to each other. So we have Chef, Green Machine, Deadeye, Fade Ace, and then Catch and Shoot. So we'll start with Catch and Shoot. Obviously, it's kind of the other cousin to Corner Specialist. And if you're someone who's spotting up in the corner, Catch and Shoot is obviously a great badge for you. If you're a popper big man, like a pick and pop big, or someone who's just spotting up corner or hash or whatever the case may be, Catch and Shoot, very good badge for you. I think even point guards should run this badge on like at least bronze or something like that. But either way, pretty straightforward badge. Doesn't really need any explanation. Chef, however, is a little bit more complicated. So again, this badge is only working from like super deep range, but consider it another level of limitless range. Now, it's already built in limitless range in this game. You can shoot from pretty reasonably deep without any badges that actually help you do so, and really you don't even need Chef. But Chef is going to be more of like a super deep 3-point booster where it's going to give you a lot more range. This is beyond like hot zone range or anything like that. So I will say it's very specific, but it definitely adds another level of just utility and just complete threat when it comes to 3-point shooting off of screens, where it's maybe going to open your big man up a lot easier for slips and stuff like that if your point guard's able to hit from Chef range. And I'm talking like it might as well just be called Curry range because it is from pretty reasonably deep. But either way, opens up your big man a lot on the slips. It might even put a lot of focus on the point guard in general, and then your big man can get open on pop slips and stuff like that too. So I will say Chef is going to be good for the people who like to shoot from mad deep. They might, again, like I said with limitless spot up, they might patch this and make it, and when I say patch, I mean actually buff it to where it's going to be usable in terms of you need it to shoot from reasonably deep, like, and turn this into the old limitless range and deep threes and stuff like that. So just keep that in mind. This may be seen as a difference later on in the year, but I just want to let everybody know about that. So Green Machine's kind of more of a staple badge. You guys know how this usually goes. I will say Green Machine's kind of been a forgotten badge for the most part though. I could maybe make the case for this belonging in the C tier because it really is kind of on the same level as most of these. I would definitely say Green Machine's the worst badge of all these B tier ones right here, but either way, you guys know the deal. You green a couple shots, boom, it starts getting your ratings going. You can green easier off of that as well. I will say though, I don't know many situations where it's going to be needed, because if you're good enough to actually green the shots early on, you probably are good enough to green them late too. So it is kind of just a forgotten badge for a good reason. I might be overrating this a little bit, and putting in the B tier might be stretching it and gassing it up a little bit too much. You could make the case for this being in the C, but I don't think any lower than that by any means. So next we got Deadeye. This is obviously an extension of blinders, but right in front, and it doesn't lower the contest percent, it just helps you make higher contested ones. And I gotta say, man, this combined with blinders, combined with mismatch expert, is just tough. It's really, really tough on these small point guards out here. And you guys know, we made a video on the small PGs, and they're definitely taking over. It's going crazy out here. But anyway, they definitely could see a little bit of a nerf when it comes to mismatch expert. And again, Deadeye is just an extension of mismatch expert, except you don't have to actually be shorter than them. It's just obviously an extension of that. But this badge definitely does go crazy. And I will say, even for the sake of bigs who run this is going to work for your fades and stuff like that too, or spotting up from the corner and just trying to shoot over smaller point guards if they have a mismatch on you or something like that, and you just want to be able to actually get a 3-pointer rather than a 2. It's reasonable. You can run this on probably silver. All you need to get it on silver is 78 3-pointer, which I'm assuming most bigs out there can probably get. If not, you can at least get it 68 and get it on bronze. But either way, really good badge. I would say it could maybe, it's not going to make its way into the A tier by any means, but I don't think this needs to be knocked down to the C at all. So then we have Fade Ace. This one right here, if it fits your play style, is nasty. I'm talking like post fades are crazy. I'm going to have a Pro-Am gameplay coming for you guys pretty soon, and you're going to see we really do use post fades quite a bit. There's a lot of people who are trying to hide their mismatch point guards on like corners or something like that, or they just put really bad like unviable defenders in the corner and trying to hide them, and we have our post score there. And I gotta say, bro, Fade Ace has been going crazy. We even like let them fade off of offensive rebounds and stuff like that, and Fade Ace is really good in terms of like post fades, the mechanic itself, and then add on to that the badge itself too with Fade Ace. Really, really good. I definitely think this badge belongs in the B tier, no doubt. All right, so into the A tier. This is where badges get really, really good. So we have Stop and Pop and Hot Zone Hunter. Then I have 3 badges above these 2 in the S tier, and you're gonna see anything in this A tier or above is a must-have badge, unless you're super tall and you can't run Mismatch Expert, or there's no utility or reason to do it. But anyway, for Stop and Pop, super, super meta. I gotta say, this badge is probably ran on every point guard, and if you're not doing it, you're just tripping. Whether you're someone who just does left-right zigzag offense and you're just sprinting all over the court, or you're someone who's doing a lot of the size ups and then quick like speed boosting out of it and then quick stopping, and boom, you shoot. Quick stop is absolute meta in this game, and Stop and Pop is crazy for it in terms of when it boosts your shot rating off of the quick stops. So really, really good badge. There's not much more to be said about it, but realistically, it's just a staple in a lot of point guards offense. I don't think this is really necessary for anybody but the point guards, though. It's probably not even useful at all in terms of if you're a stretch big or a corner spot up or anything like that. Not really a good badge, but definitely super meta when it comes to point guards. So for Hot Zone Hunter, this badge is an absolute staple in the game for anybody who has a shooting build. If you don't have this and you have more than like 15 badge points, I don't know what you're doing in the first place. I will say, however, there is something to be said about if you don't have your hot zones, you obviously don't want this badge. It's just kind of a given. Now, there was a theory back in the day that this would help you if you had cold zones to not be as cold in your cold zones, but I don't know who out there is having cold zones in the park. But anyway, if you get your hot zones from your My Career, you can shoot pretty well in there, and then boom, you're going to have it in the park. And I gotta say, you can even shoot well in the park and you'll still have hot zones, but those go away every 50 games. It's kind of harder to maintain. I would definitely recommend for you to just shoot well in your My Career, and then boom, you have them permanently, so to say, as long as you don't screw it up and play like other My Career games and just don't shoot. But anyway, Hot Zone Hunter, super good. You guys obviously know what it's good for. You shoot in your hot zones, you shoot better. Simple, just like that. If you have them all over the court, finds even more utility. It pretty much just boosts your mid-range and three-pointer and all types of stuff like that. It maybe even boosts your layup ratings and dunk ratings, I will say. I don't know if that's a fact, but I've always just ran this on the one shooting badge that I had if I wasn't running slippery off ball, and I was being kind of theoretical with it, right? Like if it actually boosted my dunk ratings by any means. So I don't know if that's the case. It probably doesn't, to be completely honest with you, but nice little theory, kind of just a little myth out there for all the 2K stuff. All right, so now we got the S tier. I gotta say, mismatch expert and sniper find their way to be definitely better than blinders, but blinders definitely still belongs in the tier above stop and pop and hot zone hunter, if you ask me. So pretty much what I'm getting at, it goes in order. I think mismatch expert is the best badge in the game in terms of shooting. Sniper really fits the utility for everybody though. So mismatch expert is just really exploitable in the terms of people are making 5.9s, 5.8s, 5.7s and stuff like that, and the shorter you are than your matchup, it just gets completely it's really tough to contest. I'll just put it like that. And sniper fits everybody. Like if you shoot the ball, you should probably have sniper. It's about as simple as that. Whether you're a stretch big, spot up, point guard, anything like that, sniper is just a staple in the game. It's going to help you make well-timed whites, and it's just going to turn full whites into greens, and honestly even just full whites just drop easy. So the only way you miss is if you just really poorly time the jump shot. And it's really gross out here, man. Dudes are just hitting full whites left and right, left and right. It's just white, 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 and everything goes in if it's wide open in the game. And it's kind of tough, I'm not gonna lie. It definitely is hard to guard when everybody on the game has sniper, and it's bailing a lot of people out if we're being completely honest. So then for blinders, this is going to negate contest from the side. So anything in terms of if it's not right in front of you in your player's like vision, it's just anything that's peripheral contest. It makes it way harder. And I gotta say, like I said, it's already hard to contest shots because of mismatch expert, and then people just hit really well because sniper, stop and pop, and hot zone hunter are really good badges. It's just tough, man. I mean, even deadeye adds to the fact of that as well, where even if you do get a good contest, people can still hit like 30s and stuff. So contesting in this game equals really, really hard, and I feel like that's because of a lot of the badges in the game. Like I said, I mean, some of the best badges in the game just make it harder to contest, or it helps you make contested jump shots as well. Again, deadeye, hot zone hunter, stop and pop, sniper, blinders negates contest, deadeye negates contest, mismatch expert negates contest. I mean, it's just a lot of these badges out here who make it harder to contest jump shots. So anyway, that is all for the video. I hope y'all enjoyed. If you did, for to drop a like, sub if you're new, turn on them noties, all that good stuff. Like I said in the intro, let's try this 1,000 likes. If you made it to the end of the video, put shot in the comments to show support's made all the way through. And if you have any feedback that you want to leave in the comments of anything I might have got wrong on here, or you think something like, for instance, Green Machine belongs in the C tier, or something like Limitless Spot Up you believe belongs higher, same with Rhythm Shooter or Set Shooter, anything like that, feel free to leave your feedback. Let me know in the comments. And again, if you made it to the end of the video, put shot in the comments to show support's made all the way through. Other than that, hope y'all enjoyed. Take these, man. Peace.